Got his ball. Look at him.
Oh, how cute.
All
Oh
he
my
cares
God.
about. This is his
That,
favorite one, this red ball. He loves it. Can I have a kiss? Give me a kiss. Okay, thank you. There you
oh, what
go.
a
There. Have it. There
sweetheart.
you go.
This is the Lee Swift Show. So I'm very excited today because I have the boss girl of the circle in my mind, the super talented, amazing influencer and lady who shook everything up, and Courtney's BFF for sure. I'm jealous.
Oh.
Savannah, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Lee. Thank you. I think we are both equally as important in Courtney's heart, especially because of this experience, you know?
I agree. I agree. I like to just cause a little trouble. I'm
I
I'm
know you do.
I'm competitive even in where do I rank in the friend scale? Who cares?
That's why I love you. That's why I love you.
Oh, you're so sweet. You're so sweet. People have asked me since the circle, how can you be friends with Savannah? She was so mean about your poem. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah. You know what? It's so funny because that was one of the first things that we actually talked about when I came up to you. Because actually, I was so interested to see what they were going to air from the finale because I don't know about you, but it felt like we were there forever. Maybe it's because I wasn't drunk, like some people were.
You need a little more
But
champagne. It did feel like we were there a
I
long
needed a
time,
lot of
though.
shit. I needed tequila, Lee, is what I needed. Okay. I think we can all agree.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, it felt like we were there a long time because they stopped and started and all that. But I think they put it together really great. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, me too. But one part I really missed seeing in there was when they asked you, who did you think was going to win? And you said me.
I
And I don't
did.
know if you remember that. And I
I
was
do
like,
remember that.
me? I was like, wow. And then what did you say after that? And you're like, oh, but I knew that Savannah didn't like me because what did you say at the finale? I can't remember. Like,
It was about the
oh,
poem.
oh, something about the poem, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I remember telling you like because obviously I had just found out that you were an author. So I was like, that definitely says more about my reading capabilities than it says about his poetry skills or author skills, writing
That's
skills
funny.
now.
I still
Yeah, so I
have it
just I just
here.
thought that was so funny.
Here it
You
is.
know, my one question, see, this is what I wish I could have asked you.
Yeah.
Um, was why did you choose to use the word, was it servant or something?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Let me look at it. Let's
That
see what
that's
I
the part
said.
that tripped me up. That's the part
I
that
bet
tripped me
it
up.
did. Let's see. Came broken heart. Let's see. Journey we got. Da, 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 da. Yeah, I started off. Let not your servant river. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good
see?
though. That's a good memory, and also that's what tripped you up because nobody
Yeah.
serves anybody. You're all about everybody being on equal ground. I love that
Well, and I
about you.
and and I thought like at that point, like I had just been named like an influencer, and I didn't want people to think that like I had thought that I was above anyone.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
so I was like, ooh, loved Courtney's. His was like, all about stuff that we had talked about and stuff. So when it came down to yours, I remember I was like B or C, and I was like, I'm gonna give it a C.
I know,
And
but
looking,
but
go ahead.
everybody did. Everybody
Yeah.
ranked me low except for I think
Yeah.
Terlisha. Everybody was like,
I think,
I like the poem, but I'm going to give him a B. You know.
yeah. Yeah, but of course, you're probably the best writer out of all of us. So don't,
Oh, I
you didn't take it personally. But
no,
yeah,
no. I did get scared though. I'll be honest. I was like,
really.
because I was
Oh,
terrified I was going to be going in. I thought I'm going to be the first one out. I mean, I sounded really confident in the package, the opening package.
of
I'm
course,
the
yeah.
greatest catfish ever, and all this.
You
But
were clearly.
well, I don't know. Delisa was. Let's be
Oh yeah.
honest.
Oh okay. Yeah. Yeah. True.
But
True. She was.
I felt like I was going to get out the first. I mean, every time I thought I'm the one going. I'm the
Yeah.
one going. So I was like paranoid, terrified, all that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
how did it feel being the first influencer?
It's funny because I told them that I didn't want to be an influencer like at all. My goal was actually to not be an influencer ever. So I was like trying to chime in in like some conversations and like just relate to people like and not like overdo it. Honestly, I was just gonna because like I can literally talk to anyone in my everyday life. You know, I can talk to a
Absolutely.
wall for hours. So yeah, my goal was to just try to like, you know, fly under the radar. But yeah, then when I was an influencer, I was like, I don't know if I'm doing this right. And then so
Yeah.
I wasn't very excited, to be honest with you. Like when they said like 1 and 2, I was like excited mostly because I was safe. But I wasn't excited because I just thought about the Circle season 1 and how Antonio was an influencer at first. I was like, oh my gosh. So I kind of like foresaw it happening, but it is what it is, you know. I'm just glad
I
to have been an influencer, period,
yeah,
before I
yeah.
got out.
I think you were amazing. I think being the first influencer, you probably had the same strategy as me, is to stay in the middle, because the
Yeah.
middle is seems like
Safest.
the
Yeah.
safest place. It's not
Yes.
necessarily, but it seems like that's the more safe place. You had a plan, and you
Yeah.
scared. I was terrified of you,
You
and
should have been.
I should have been, because I think
Clearly everyone else was too. Like Jack
exactly.
told me, Jack was like, the only reason why I sent you home is because I didn't know if I was going to get that chance again. And I was like, I mean, I understand. I mean, that's why I wasn't taking anything personally, because at the end of the day, when I was in the influencer position, I made sure that someone that I thought was going to be competition was, you know, going to be sent home by me. That's why ultimately it came down to Bryant, because did they air this part of the show where like that he like saved one of his friends off the streets
Yeah,
from homeless? They put that in the show, right? Yeah.
yeah, they
So like
did.
that, I remember like that chat specifically. I
I
remember
do too.
thinking in my head, he's got to go, like,
Yeah,
because everyone just loved him in it. And unfortunately, it's a game where you need to be the most popular. So if there's someone who's more likable than you are, they're getting the boot, you know?
that, that's the
So
game. That's the game. I mean,
yeah. And that's
I
why it's so good.
I
That's why it's
know,
so
I know.
good.
It's so good, and I love it. I honestly think there isn't a person that didn't in our season that didn't have a chance to win. Any of us could have won, honestly, because everybody
Oh
came in
yeah.
so strong. For different reasons we could have won, but it was like, and it's kind of the luck of the draw. The time when Kat came to me and Courtney, she made one little misstep, and any little misstep and you could go. It's
And in Kat's case, she didn't even know she was misstepping. You know, she didn't
exactly
even know that she wasn't even aware of what she was about to unravel for
right,
herself
right.
and for everyone else, I guess.
I know. Because I love
Yeah.
post game. People may not know this, but Steven and I flew out to California for the reunion, and you drove us to
Mhm.
the airport. You offered. I
Yeah.
mean, we're all
Petit
this.
Hermitage. Is that
That's
how you say it?
Petite Hermitage. Yeah, that's where we stayed.
Hermitage.
That's right.
Oh,
I
you know, I
think it's
actually
Hermitage.
just went there. I just went there for drinks. And I was like, oh my God, I picked Leah from here. And it was
Yeah.
so cute up
It
there.
isn't it a cute hotel, and the
So
upstairs bar.
cute.
It's so
I
neat.
love it. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, you should go back. They should pay us for talking about them.
I know. Wait, no free promo. Never mind.
No,
Don't go there. It sucks.
no, it was fantastic. I mean, the room was great,
Yeah.
the service great. It's a very boutique hotel, but I loved it. I
You
would stay there
know,
again.
good little boutique hotels like that in LA, I feel like there aren't many. And especially with a cute little rooftop like that. I really
Hmm.
love the pool and the bar up there. And then they have like a whole restaurant on the side, do they not?
Yeah, they do. Kat actually came up and visited with her friend Anna. Stephen and I, I think we had brunch before the big party, and we just
Mm.
stayed up there for like a couple hours, just chatting it up and drinking mimosas. It was so much fun. It
Ooh,
was
how
a blast.
fun.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, let's talk about you. We've talked circle
Oh,
enough.
okay.
I want to talk about you for a little bit.
Okay.
So
That's my favorite topic too.
good. I'm glad, because you
I'm
are
just
a
kidding.
boss girl for sure in my mind,
Oh, thank
and
you.
I think you're amazing. I love what you're posting, and I found out as I was preparing
Hmm.
for the interview that you were
Yes.
Miss Teen. You were part of Miss Teen California in
Yeah.
2015. Tell me about
Yes.
that. Tell me about that.
So many years ago. So I actually, Leah, I've never told you. No one asked this. You do your research, Lee.
I did. I
Um,
did.
Yeah, I actually competed in pageants for, I want to say like 15 years. I
Wow.
competed in pageants since I was 7 years old. I stopped when I was like a sophomore in college, I think, is when I did my last one. I didn't really do like toddlers and tiara pageants though. You know, that like show where they have like a lot of makeup on. The pageants I did were actually quite the opposite. They were based off of, you know, your public speaking skills and interview skills and poison presentation on stage. There's no talent. There is an option to do talent. There's like a bunch of optional contests you can do, but talent isn't like weighed. Instead, they interview all the women individually. You get like 3 minutes and they get to ask you anything that they want. They could ask you anything off your resume. So it really prepared me for like getting jobs in the future or for college. The winner at the end of it gets money for a college scholarship. So it's actually what helped me get through college debt free, because I competed so much. I had placed and won enough to have acquired enough money to put myself through school. So yeah,
That's
it was
amazing.
great. Yeah,
That's
thank
amazing.
you.
See, I mean, that's why Boss Girl makes sense. You know, you've been hustling and working hard your whole life, really.
Exactly. And it's honestly why when people ask me about the circle, they're always like, oh, well, weren't you sad that you didn't win? But honestly, no, because I had competed in pageants for so many years in my life. I never won every pageant. In fact, every woman, some of the most tenacious people I've ever met in my entire life have been in pageantry, or women that I've competed against. Because you go into a pageant and you know that there's only going to be one winner. You know that there's only one crown. And so you go in with it knowing I'm not competing with all these women, I'm competing with myself. You know, if the judges don't like me, there's nothing that I can do about it. Just how in the circle, if people didn't like me, there's nothing that I could do about it because I am who I am. So it's either you love me or you hate me. And the person who won today might have not won yesterday with a different set of judges. So I learned how to lose gracefully and how to be tenacious from a very young age. And that on top of playing sports my whole life, I don't really see any opportunity that I put myself into or that I go through as a losing opportunity, because I only look at what I've gained. And I think that is a very important framework to instill in not only young women, but young men.
I think that's very well said. And I think competing against yourself is the competition. I mean, for any
Exactly.
competition. What's your advice to young women, especially girls? Because I know you probably get a lot of messages from girls about
Yeah.
how to navigate the world we're in.
I get a lot of like people saying like, how are you so outspoken? Like, where does your confidence come from? All that stuff. You know, you gotta learn to live your life for you. And the moment I stopped caring about like what other people's opinions were of me or doing things for other people, I started to excel in everything that I wanted to do. That's not to say like don't be a selfless person, you know, don't do things for other people, don't have like empathy and compassion for others, but like try to put yourself first and try to put yourself in a positive mindset. I mean, I have days where I'm like, oh my God, I look so fat. This morning, like I'm on my period. Sorry if that's TMI for everyone listening. But I started my period and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so bloated. Like I can't wear, you know, these cycling shorts I wanted to wear. I can't wear this outfit because I don't like the way I look. But, you know, then I was like, okay, like no one's looking at me the way I'm looking at me, you know, just like trying to do like self-confidence things. I look at myself in the mirror every morning and I tell myself like, you're smart, you're worthy of this day. Like you like are, you know, very lucky to have woken up in like a bed. Like I try to be like in the moment. And I know that sounds, I hate when people say that because now it's like, oh my God, be in the moment, you know,
Yeah.
it's like a
Yeah.
trend, but like really like try to be in the moment and just like be aware of yourself and the world around you. And I feel like that really helps because when you're like too much looking into other people's lives, you like don't have anything left for yourself.
I'm telling you, you're hitting every button on me of what you're talking
Oh,
about how to
thanks.
live your life. You've been open about mental health on your postings and about how you have worked with mental health and how there should be no shame for seeing therapists and things like that. Tell us a bit about how that came about, how your perspective about mental health and how to deal with it is.
I mean, I feel like it's always something that I've tried to talk about on my Instagram because so many people ask. I'm not like a mental health expert. Like you probably know more than I know, but I, at a very young age, when my parents were never together, they like were together when they conceived me, and
Yeah.
that was it pretty much. So like dealing with parents who really couldn't get along, because I was also their only child together, was like hard. So when they were in a custody battle, the court actually assigned a family law field attorney. And I still remember her name. Her name was Elise Greenberg. Shout out Miss Greenberg. She was like one of the only people that made me feel heard at that time in my life because I was so young. I was like 7 or 8 years old. So I like knew what was going on, but I didn't have enough of a voice for myself, like who's like a kid, unfortunately, in that situation isn't really listened to that much. And so like at that was my first, encounter with, someone else, to talk to someone. And then when I got to college, I remember at CSUN, we were offered like free therapy sessions every semester. And one of the girls in my sorority actually like held them. She was I guess they use students and train them and then use other students as guinea pigs to see how good they were.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but yeah, I went, and sometimes it's just like healthy to talk to someone who doesn't see things from your perspective. Because I know that when I go to my friends for something, they're always going to back me up. They're always going to have my corner. Or if I go to my mom or my family, it might be the same. They might be a little harsher on me and show me a little bit more tough love. But when you go to someone who doesn't really know the situation, doesn't really know you, doesn't know the other person or people, it can give you a lot of insight into what you're not seeing because we have like, our own mind and we're like here, but there's like so much out there that we're not able to realize because we're like within the own bounds of our mind. So
I talk about therapy to some kids because I'm not an expert either, but kids that are wanting to come out and struggling because they may be in a household that for religious reasons or cultural reasons or whatever, they're not getting any support. They know they don't want to come out because they don't feel safe about it with their own family. So I always say when it's beyond your own scope, seek out a friend if you can, because you can't always, your mental health, it's like anything. If you get help. If you're physically not feeling well, you seek out help. So
if you have a broken bone, you go to a doctor. It's the same thing.
You do.
Yeah.
Talking about coming out, it is Pride Month. I talked to our dear friend Courtney
about Pride Month.
Happy Pride Month to you.
Woo! Yeah.
I talked to Courtney about what Pride was, his first Pride, and what it was like. Tell me about your experiences with the LGBTQ community. I mean, you're an ally for sure, and about your Pride experiences.
I love me some gays.
I know you
do. The gays love me, and I love the gays.
Exactly.
Yeah. My experience with the LGBTQ community, I feel like it's been a part of my life for so long. I have an uncle who's bi, another uncle who's gay. My older brother is gay. Some of my best friends, literally like Courtney's gay, you're gay. My friend Raymond is gay. I'm friends with Sammy. Sammy's bi. I mean, my experience with the LGBTQ community goes beyond just the relationships that I have in my life. I've been to so many Pride festivals myself. I love Pride in LA. It's
so fun.
Wild. Honestly, it's wild. I remember the first time I ever saw a pair of butt cheeks in broad daylight was at Pride. Yeah. They're just butt cheeks right there.
I know.
Just some guys, and they were good butt cheeks. The gays, they have good butts.
There you go. The gays.
I don't know why people don't like you guys.
Well,
they're not to like.
It's a heteronormative world, I mean, it's hard growing up in this world because the most images are about that, and that's okay. but I just want to support. To me, pride is about linking arms with allies like you and other LGBTQ plus people and saying you're not alone. And even for the young people in small towns that they don't see any other images, now that we have the internet, they get to connect and they can say, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, somebody like Savannah, who is this beautiful woman, she's an ally. How cool, you know? So
Mhm.
I think all that's important. Let's wave our rainbow flags and support these kids because it can be hard.
Yeah. It can be really difficult, I feel, for a lot of people to feel like they um, can't come out. I mean, it took my older brother almost 30 years to come out. I'm half Mexican, half Filipino. I know it doesn't look like it, but I am half Mexican. And my dad's side is just very conservative Hispanic. Um, that's the best way I can explain it. They're very conservative.
Yeah,
And
sure.
so when we were young, my older brother is 6.5 years older than me, maybe 7. Oh, God, don't quote me on that, but six,
Yeah.
7 years older than me. Enough to make like a pretty big age gap in between us. And growing up, he was always the he was the good child. I know you would have never guessed it, Lee, but I was the problematic child. And he was always the type to color between the lines. And I would be outside the lines, drawing stars, hearts. He was always quiet. Thank you. No, thank you. Yes, sir. No, ma'am. Whatever. I was like, not that at all. So, when he came out in a letter to the rest of our family and to me, and in it he says, I felt an immense amount of pressure because my whole life I was was pretty perfect. Everybody told me what a great kid I was, and that I was always doing a good job. He would get straight A's in school. I mean, this guy just did not stop. He made it really hard for me to look like
Yeah.
the good kid. And so when he came out, it was a huge like shock to our family who didn't know. My dad was even like, had no idea. I kind of already knew, but
Yeah.
to them, he had hit it so well. And so it was hard for them because for the first time in Nicholas's entire life, he was no longer the person that they thought he was. So I just feel like, even if you are like in a great, situation at home and you have people that will probably support you, it's still a hard thing to do, no matter who you are or where you live or what your income is. It's never going to be easy. So I think like pride for me is just like love and acceptance, like why am I going to make it hard for someone to find love, to love who they want to love? Isn't love just supposed to be love? I mean, I know love isn't easy, but it can be easy if we allow it to be easy. And I just think that that's one way that we can make it easy for everyone.
Yeah. Imagine this perfection thing is sort of a common thing with
Yeah.
LGBTQ people because they're inside this family and they are playing a part, to be honest, because they can't be fully authentic. So they work
Yeah.
extra hard. Imagine all the things your brother had to do. Let me ask you this. You're multicultural. Tell me about being multicultural and how that's impacted your life.
I grew up in 2 different places. Like I said, my parents were separated. So half the time I grew up in El Sereno, Highland Park. I don't know if you know where that's at. And then
Mm-hmm.
it's like East LA kind of. And then the other half of the time I grew up in the San Gabriel Valley. So one is like very heavily populated with Latino, with the Latino community. And then the other is more of like a mix of Latino and Asian. There were like a lot of Chinese where the San Gabriel Valley is. So I didn't really grow up with like Filipinos, but I grew up like identifying with the Asian community because I look similar, because I lived around them, and also with the Latino community, and also like Black. There are a lot of Black there's a large Black demographic in like the LA area. So I don't know. I feel like for me, seeing diversity was a norm for me. I felt like it was a learning about racism that was hard for me, and like learning about maybe things that I said weren't correct. And I didn't realize that I had this like internalized, institutionalized racism. And even though I'm not a racist person, and I have always identified with like the minorities because I am a double minority, certain things that I would say, maybe they just weren't correct.
And I do think that what you said about that institutional racism, I'll give you an example. On Delisa and Trevor on their YouTube channel, I was watching them do their walk through their house, the empty house that they bought. You know, they did a walk through.
Their empty house tour.
It was amazing. It was amazing. But I learned something that I had no idea. The master's suite. They don't call it that. I didn't know that. I learned that it's the owner's suite or the owner's bedroom or whatever. And I had never, that's that institutional in your brain. I'd never put that two and two together, that would be hurtful or harmful.
Yeah.
And so I'm changing my language. I'm trying to learn because we are all brothers and sisters. We really
we
need
are.
to be. And we need to be that where every little child gets the equal treatment, for whatever they do. Any marginalized community, I want to help because
stop Asian hate.
Let me ask you this: how did you become a social media influencer? Did you intentionally go into it, or did you? Okay.
No.
Okay.
I didn't actually. I mean, I think once the ball started rolling and once I knew what it could be, then I started to set my intentions and goals and things. But I was in my last semester of college in 2018 in the spring, and I remember I was in my room with like one of my friends. It was like 2 months until I graduated. She was like, why don't you take Instagram seriously? And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, how come you don't post like good photos? And I was like, I thought I did post good photos. But I think what she meant is like, why didn't I post more intentional photos of myself? Because a lot of my photos at that time were like photos of me like with my friends at a music festival, photos of me like on this rooftop at lunch with my brother, just like random stuff like me and my dog, my life basically. And I was like, I don't know. And she just got me thinking, and we ended up putting an outfit together like right then and there. And she like pulled me into my backyard, and I stood in front of this bush, this like hedge, and she like took a photo of me. And I remember I was like with a hat and I was like whisking my hair. And then I remember I posted it with the caption, when you have to remember if you put deodorant on. I just thought it was so funny. I don't know. At the time,
that's cute.
I was like, ha ha. And I posted it. And then I just kind of started doing that for like maybe like a week or 2 weeks. And Forever 21 emailed me one day and they were like, hey, we want to send you a free box of clothes. And I was like, free box of clothes? Because I was so broke, Lee. I was so broke during this time in my life because I was in my last semester of school. Like my pageant money was running out. I was getting my FAFSA that was running out. I was getting like all this government aid. And then I was working full time, but I was also in this sorority and I was paying for everything myself. I had a car, I was paying for it myself, my apartment. I was so psyched that I was getting free clothes. And then they like only required like 6 or 7 posts. Let's go. So they sent it to me. I did that. And then it was basically just a snowball effect from there. And for the first year, it was like mostly like product for posts. But then, once it started getting bigger and my content started getting better, you start to learn the business of it. And then I started, looking into getting a manager, and I ended up getting signed with one of the best management companies in LA. So yeah, now it's like a career and I didn't even mean to do it.
Isn't that
I'm like,
amazing?
shit, what do I do now?
I know. And I loved all the people like at the reunion, all your people around you. They're so sweet.
Yes,
I mean,
I know, they're the best.
they
They
are
were all so drunk.
incredible.
I was the most sober one there. I was like, what
Yes,
the
you
heck?
were.
You guys are supposed to be taking care of me. They're over there taking shots with my boyfriend.
I know. And your
Yeah,
boyfriend's a doll. He's a sweetheart
yes,
too. I mean, I
he's
can't
the
wait to
best.
see you guys again. So, what would be
I
your advice
know.
to somebody that's hey, I want to be a social media person. I want to be an influencer. What's your advice? Like me,
My
because I'm really new. I'm really new. Give me some advice, and then other
my
people
best
too.
advice is you got to work every day. It's not a job, it is a lifestyle. I tell everyone that because it's so true. You know, you constantly got to be on, you got to be in front of a camera. Sometimes like shit in your life happens. I cannot tell you how many times like I have had like a crisis, but 20 minutes after I had my crisis, I'm in front of a camera filming a video, high energy. Like there's just certain things that you bring into work, and unfortunately, like your emotions can't be. And so you just got to work hard. You got to work hard. You got to be consistent with your content. You got to figure out like who you are and what your brand is. That's why it's like so important to look inward and for me, it was so important for me to figure out who I was because I didn't know. I'm still trying to figure it out even now.
I'm 58 and
And
I'm still figuring it out. So,
yeah,
you know.
I'm sure. I think it's gonna be like a forever thing. But that's what's beautiful about social media is that people get to watch you grow. And there's so many people, Lee. I'm so blessed with the best fans because there are some people that have been with me since like 2018,
Oh,
2019. And they're like, oh my gosh, it's so crazy to see you just like grow up and like find yourself. And I'm always honest, like on my page. Like I'm always like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but like I'm trying to figure it out. Like I hope you guys are figuring it out too. Like
yeah.
we're figuring it out together. It's just
Yeah.
like no one's perfect. So, you know, your account isn't gonna be perfect. You're not gonna be perfect, but like you can always I don't know. For me, like I know my content's always getting better because I'm always getting better.
I think the thing about your content and most, I would say, to me, the influencers that I love to watch and follow, it's there's authenticity that's coming through. And
Huh.
I mean, if somebody is authentic and I feel that energy and connection, that's why I follow them because, you know, I feel it and they make me smile and I love it. And I know you do that. So
Only.
it's
Only. Well,
amazing.
I'm glad I'm making you smile and not making you cry now.
I cried a
The
lot,
big fat
but
cry baby. Yeah.
that's me, you know. I mean, I wish I was as tough as you, but I am just Steven said before I left, whatever you do, don't cry on TV because he knows me. He's more like you, you know.
I love
Nobody's
him. I
gonna see
know
him
he's so
cry.
great. Yeah.
Me, weep, whatever. It's all good. Oh
Oh, that's why you're
man.
so precious though, Lee. I love
Oh,
you.
so you are growing like mad. Your fan base is growing.
Woo!
What can your fans expect next from Savannah?
Shit, I wish I knew. Honestly, who knows? And one thing that show taught me, I thought I was a predictable person. I am highly unpredictable. I I think when it comes to games, I'm so competitive. I really am. I I just want to win, you know. So maybe hopefully maybe like the challenge or Big Brother. I'm hoping to get picked up by MTV to be honest with you.
You'd be awesome on the challenge, I think. I think that'd
I
be
would love the
amazing.
challenge. I
It'd
would
be
kick
amazing.
ass. You know why, Lee? Because I'm a runner. I'm a runner. I have endurance. I'm not super strong, but I'm strong for my size.
Yeah.
I can do math, kind of, but I'm really good at puzzles. So honestly, I would kick ass on the challenge, or Big Brother,
Yeah.
or I would even I don't know. Maybe I'm too like I don't know. I would do the Survivor, but I also really don't like to get my nails dirty.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to eat like a cockroach, you know? Like I'll do it, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna vomit, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And they're a
So
long
I don't
time out
know.
there. They're a long time out there if you continue on what you want to. I love Survivor. I would
Me
like to do it. I
too.
just don't know physically if I could do either definitely not the challenge, Survivor, probably
Yeah.
not, you know. But I would do another show. I would love to do.
You should
know
do
what
Big Brother.
I would do Big Brother in heartbeat. I would love. I would love to do Big Brother. But I would love. You know what I really love? Wouldn't it be fun going back into the circle and you and I being a duo? That would be.
You would want to be a duo with me?
I think it would be
that
fun.
would be so much fun.
I think
we
it would be
do
fun.
so well together.
Yeah, because I again, when I said I thought you would win, I really did think you would win. You and Trevor were the two. I mean, I remember saying that. I don't know if they aired that or not, but I said these are the two people that scare me the most. I wasn't scared of Bryant because I figured he had the biggest target when he said his. I mean, what a sweetheart! My God.
I see where your mind was at, Lee. You were thinking in there. You know what? I knew I was on to you, though. I don't know if I ever told you that.
You did.
I was on to you.
Oh, wow.
I was on to you. I knew that you weren't who you said you were. I don't know what it was. I think I have it in my notes, actually.
It makes
but
it
I was
fun.
on to you. I knew you were a catfish. You didn't fool me.
Did you know I was older? Did you figure that out too?
No. I didn't know that you were older, but I figured, I just like, you know what it was? It was like the words didn't match the person. I felt. I was like, there's something about this that's off. But then when you were like talking about red being your color with Chloe, and you guys like were like, oh my God, like red gang, like I hated that moment, by the way. I was like, oh. But I remember being like, okay, maybe he is who he really is, you know?
Yeah.
Gosh, I gotta look at my notes, but I remember later on down the line, I was like, there's no way.
No way he is.
No,
it would have been good to get me out because I did get to the finale.
No,
so
I wouldn't have kicked you out. I was trying really hard to get you to be in my corner. I like really wanted to talk to you, but
we never got an opportunity.
And then I was like, why does River not want to talk to me? You know, because in there you're taking everything personally because you're like, fuck, you know, like. You literally have nothing better to do.
Exactly. There is nothing else.
There's literally nothing else.
Oh,
I remember I was like, I'm gonna bake cookies to keep my mind off of things. And then they gave me this cookie dough, but it was already like cut in its things. So all I had to do was put it in the pan. And so I was like, oh, that was nice.
That lasted 5 seconds. Well, that's why I did all the artwork stuff because I was so bored. I was like, I just thought, and I didn't keep notes like you did. But I wanted to think about the game. So pictures of you guys in every room made me keep my brain on the game. So, it was cool.
Hey, that's a smart idea.
Yeah, it was fun. And now I have t-shirts. So, whatever.
Yeah, by the way, I love my shirt. I was planning on wearing it, but I wore it yesterday and I had this sandwich spilled on it. I was like, no.
You look cute. Yeah. You wore the right outfit. Thank you for doing this with me. I so appreciate it. I adore you. I absolutely
anything
adore
for you, Lee.
Yeah, well, same goes for you from me. All right.
Okay, good. Then get your ass over here.
Okay, I will.